Hello again. For those of you who have watched my other videos, it's good to see you, and I had been thinking a little bit on how to do this without rambling quite as much as I have been. I understand that I have been, it's okay. You have to understand that this is actually, for me, this is kind of partially a therapy thing. I'm more than a little bit using this as a healing and therapeutic technique. So I know I had been talking about making a video specifically regarding brain injury and technology, but I thought it might make a little bit more sense to apply technology to specific issues that I've run into, and I've read other people have run into very similar issues to these. And one of the things that I have learned over the course of my studies and recovery is that what they've discovered is that a lot of times the problems that can cause exhaustion and that can cause us the most difficulty in our lives, in addition to the memory problems, but they're also problems with regulating sensory input and how we react to it. Because you've developed filters throughout your life, that you've developed habits and filters so that you don't have to pay very close attention and put a lot of energy into this noise or this visual cue or that visual cue or this touch or whatever. And when you have a severe brain injury, those neural pathways that were developed over that time period can be disrupted or in some cases completely destroyed. So it took me a lot of research and a lot of thinking and a lot of work on being able to remember what I had read and whatnot about it, but to finally kind of have this aha light bulb kind of moment about this in regard to the overall exhaustion. The exhaustion, of course, is something that's very common. Brain fog and exhaustion are very common to anyone who suffers brain injury of any level. So one of the things that has been the most striking for me recently, and that I have really benefited from recognizing and consciously trying to work on, is sound. And it occurred to me at some point that with all of your other senses, we can do things. We can, if you're chilly, you can put on a sweater or some gloves. If the light's too bright, you can close your eyes. Or if you don't like what you're seeing, you can close your eyes. If you don't like what you're tasting, you can spit it out or not put it in your mouth in the first place. With heat, you can pull away. Every other sense that we have of the 5, we have something that we can do at any given time almost immediately to alleviate whatever discomfort we happen to be feeling. We can generally move if we need to, if we're in an uncomfortable position or whatever. But hearing is something that you can't turn on and off. You have to, it's there, it's always there. There are sounds happening, and they are always happening. There's never a time when there isn't some sound around us. And it occurred to me that I really needed to pay more attention to that particular set of filters as regarding draining my energy and draining my attention. And there are some technologies that have helped me. Some of them are not new, but some of them are, kind of new. But one thing that I discovered was that if I could get an opportunity every day, as I've already discussed, I am a meditator and I do meditate. But when I'm sitting in meditation, to get an opportunity where I have as little sound as possible so that I can focus on the others consciously. And one way that I discovered to do that was these type of sound deadening earmuffs that you get. Now these are for the gun range, and I don't remember, I'd have to look it up and find out, I don't remember exactly what decibel level they go to. But they're really amazing and fantastic to just sit in meditation if you put these on your ears and sit in meditation for 15, 20 minutes, half an hour a day, they do not completely get rid of all sound input, but most quieter sounds, like maybe air conditioners or radios in another room or whatever it happens to be, they can deaden most kind of lighter sounds and give you an opportunity to just genuinely rest from those outward sounds coming in. Now, I don't know, I hadn't really thought of it that way. Once I began to operate from that and began to consciously look at it like, okay, that's a sound I don't need to pay attention to, I feel like I really started redeveloping those oral filters, and have gotten some restful benefit from it. So I feel like I probably sleep a little bit better, and I probably actually am a lot more calm. And if I take time every day to sit, for instance, in meditation, either in a quiet space or with those on my ears to muffle as much of the outward sound coming in as I can, I have found that it's tremendously helpful, and it's helped me also. I've noticed when I go out into public, because when I go out into public, obviously, you have no control over the noise level of any store that you happen to go into, mostly your workplace. You know what I mean? Whatever you happen to do when you go out into public, you have absolutely no control over the noise level of those places. So if I have discovered that if I try to get my own area and create for myself a place where I can control the noise, whether there's music playing or there's a TV running or there's, whatever, at least for some portion of the day where I can sit in some measure of silence and be able to even pinpoint noises that a lot of times just get lost in the shuffle of all of the other noises that are happening. Because some people experience from their injuries, they'll not only experience a problem just with sound in general, but they'll experience a problem with maybe some certain wavelengths, maybe some certain tones, maybe some certain type of sound is more grating on them or more difficult for them to handle than another. So I have personally found noise drove me crazy, especially as this idea actually came to me from Noah Levine, the Dharma Punks teacher, who mentioned about how, isn't it funny, a little, kind of funny if you notice the difference in your reaction to natural noises like birds singing or water running or a wind blowing, and the difference between that and your reaction to noises that humans make. So if you notice and examine and see the difference between somebody's leaf blower going on and the wind blowing, and I was like, okay, yeah, I have a much more negative attitude when it comes to the leaf blower than I do to the wind blowing. And so that, trying to look at it from that point of view, I feel is greatly helping me to arrest the sound filter problem in a more conscious way. The theory being that the more subconscious and unconscious things that you can bring into the conscious realm and actually logically examine, the more control you will have over them. So I use those. I also bought a set of Eargasm earplugs, which work fantastically. I don't know if they're supposed to completely block out all sound. I don't think they are. But when you wear them, you can hear. You can hear quite well. They just seem to reduce and deaden certain frequencies. And I did find that they are very helpful on a day when I'm particularly doing badly with my with sounds. Putting those on and wearing them throughout the day is tremendously helpful. In addition to making sure that I take a little bit of time every day to get a nice, genuinely quiet space and spend some time in that, focusing on the fact that I'm sitting in a nice, quiet space and able to separate noises consciously, which often we can't do. So when when those neural pathways are disrupted, you lose the filters that you built over time. I ignore that noise. And then after you ignore that noise enough times, it doesn't, you know what I mean? It just doesn't really get any conscious effort from you. Well, conscious effort uses energy. And the more conscious effort we put into things, the more tired we're going to be. We're using a lot of energy on things that we previously didn't use much energy on at all. So those are some helpful things that I have. I also have a set of noise canceling headphones that are Bluetooth, so that I can connect those and listen to maybe a music, a guided meditation. Often I'll just listen to nature sounds or whatever. And of course, those also block out outward sounds, so that all I'm kind of being pumped into my ears is that information. And those are some of the things that technology has done for me regarding the development of this. And I do find that since I started doing that, which is only, maybe it was a year ago when I really started trying to focus on that and trying to get it under control and create that type of environment and time period for myself every day, I have noticed a tremendous increase in my overall concentration and energy levels from day to day. So that is one thing that technology has advanced to the point that it can give us the opportunity to do that, whereas previous to some of these advances, we wouldn't really have been able to block out things for specific sets of times and have control over it also, as we are either repairing or redeveloping those same neural pathways. Another thing for sound is just music in general. I think most of us love music. As you can see back there, there's my amplifier back there. I am a guitar player. I'm not gonna play probably on here. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see someday. But music is just really powerful. It's very powerful medicine for anyone. So what I recommend is, if you, what I discovered, like driving in the car, for instance. I can drive. It took me a long time to get to where I felt safe driving, but I can drive now, and I have been examined to be sure that it was safe, and it is, and I have a driver's license. But what I found was, like, with music, I really can't do the radio, and it's difficult to have conversations. What I determined is that is because they're new, and I have to focus on them because they're new, they're different. But if I choose a playlist, because obviously now in our cars, this is another technological advance, if I bring a thumb drive with me and plug it into my car, and I'm just playing, or I have a Spotify list, and I'm just playing music that I've been literally listening to since I was 10 years old, it's no distraction whatsoever. Why? Because I know those songs. I know them by heart. I've heard them so many times. Every chord progression, every drum beat, all of the lyrics. So it's actually a very relaxing experience, and I can allow myself to focus on driving, which obviously is what's important while you're in the car, more than I am focused on these other sounds that are happening around to me. I can turn off the music. I can just focus on my engine, what my car sounds like while I'm driving it. Obviously, that's good and important anyway, but it doesn't hamper my ability to drive and pay attention to where I am and what's going on around me. And that makes driving a lot more relaxing and a lot easier and a lot safer for everyone involved. So some of these technologies have just been amazing that have come along, that had my injury happened prior to 2006, I would have been in way worse straits than I have been through the process that I've gone through in the last 15 years. So that was what I kind of wanted to talk about. If anyone has any, as always, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to make them in the comment section below. If you feel that this information is helpful to anyone, please feel free to like and share. I thank you very much for watching, and I will make another video, probably topical, in addition to the technologies that I have learned that are helpful to me. Thank you for watching.